Hey guys. Hey Zach, welcome mate. Hey Timothy. Hey everyone, hope you're all going well. Obviously you are. I am. When I've got the Pinot out, you know that I'm feeling pretty good. Let a few more people tune in and then we can kind of talk about that, because that was, probably the most physical game we've had this year. So that was, I think we should all be pretty happy with that. We should all be pretty proud of the boys tonight, because that wasn't an easy win and that could have been a loss any other year. Any other year that could have been a loss. If you had told me before the game that we'd lose Jack Hayes in the first term, Rowan Marshall wouldn't be able to ruck the game, we'd have to put Battle into the ruck, Max King would kick 1 goal 7, and overall we'd kick 18 points and, not hit over 80 points in the game, I would have said, well, we probably might have lost that game, but we still somehow found a way to grind out a 17-point win, I think it was. 8 goals 12 for GWS to 10-17, 77, which takes us to 5-1, and that puts us second on the ladder at the moment. Obviously, games to be played, long weekend, but right now that is our best winning streak since 2011, since after the bye 2011. So this is the best form any Saints team has had in 12 years. So that kind of puts it into perspective that it's been long overdue, but this team could be legit. That game just had the writing on the wall at halftime. Even I was chatting to Joyce, chatting to Marshy, who was at the game tonight, and we're all just thinking, it's just got that feeling. It's one of those nights. We're not kicking straight. The umpires are loving GWS, giving them everything, giving them 50-metre penalties for nothing, giving them goals in the last quarter for holding the ball against Patton that wasn't there. Talking about Toby Green for basically 4 hours, pre-game, during the game, probably post-game. The post-game analysis is probably Toby Green highlights for the game. But what I loved is that none of that fazed us. I don't know if you guys got the same thing, but regardless of what happened, what players went down, what goals we missed, our boys were just focused at the task at hand for from the first bounce to the final siren. Not one moment in that game did we waver. The effort, the focus, obviously the efficiency and accuracy, that wavered throughout the game. We missed goals, we missed kicks, but overall, that tackling pressure, I don't know I'll check now actually what our tackling was. I think we had more inside 50s in the end. Let's look at defense tackles. GWS laid 72 tackles. 72 tackles. We laid 76. So we played a team that brought the heat. They had to lift. Their form's been shit. And we knew they were going to come at us. And I thought the first quarter was really going to set the tone for them. But what the best part about that was, we came out, we kind of absorbed their pressure, and it was really only inaccuracy in that first quarter where we should have been 3 or 4 goals up, in all honesty. Higgins missed a couple, but again, in a game where it wasn't free-flowing, it was a slog, like the Fremantle game in round 2, we needed to find something, a spark, and Jack Higgins was that spark. 4 goals, 3, set up Crouch at the end, could have had 5 for the second consecutive week. I think he's only 1 goal or 2 goals off leading the Coleman, Jack Higgins. That's how good he's going. Max King had 8 or 9 shots on goal. I feel sorry for Maxi because I think he missed maybe 3 or 4 snaps. But he's having 8 shots a goal every single week. So there's going to be a game this year, Sainers, where Maxi's going to kick, instead of 1 goal 7, it's going to be 8 goals straight or 7 goals 1. It's going to be a bag like that. Tonight wasn't the night, but we had to grind it out. We had to grind it out, and I don't think people underrate our midfield, but honestly, Josh Battle, appreciation post will be coming out this week. I'll make sure of it. But he went into the ruck, and for some reason it did not. Everyone thought maybe, with Ron Marshall going down and Jack Hayes going down, that would really affect us around the contest. But Josh Battle, in the end, he finished with 23 disposals, 10 marks, 3 clearances, and a staggering 1 hit out to about 50. And you just love to see it. You love to see the contest. Whether our players were in a mismatch or not, they were up for the contest. Ben Long threw his body around. Jade Gresham, Jack Higgins, Jack Steele. Seb Ross again continued that form. I can't picture really a player that really let us down. Lynett came on for Hayes and didn't look out of place. Brad Hill only had the 10, but again, it wasn't really quite that open game that we're used to in the last couple of weeks where he's thrived. Dan Butler, quiet, but chased. Mason Wood, quiet, but he chased, he pressured. Ben Patton and Jimmy Webster did a fantastic job on the returning Toby Green. Again, kept him, I think, to 1 goal. He didn't do much after that. And anytime he got the ball, he wanted to take players on, but our tackles were sticking. We were sticking those tackles, getting free kicks for it. Sinclair, 26. Brad Crouch, 23. Ross, 24. Battle, 23. Steele, 29. There was a big spread again of players in that 20 to 30 disposal range. And that's what the best teams do. It's not one player getting 35 every week like Jack Steele in years gone by. It's an even spread. And again, we got that. Dean Mackey finished with 16, a modest 16, went up and down that wing. And I thought our backline again stood tall. Very similar to weeks gone by, where the opposition's had periods where they've gotten it into the 50, they've bombed it long. They had Flynn there, they had Bruce there returning, and he was marking everything as well, especially when Marshall went off the ground and Hayes. You just can't question this footy team at the moment. They're doing it, they're playing with hearts on their sleeves, they're winning for the supporters, and it's just, Wangani Malira gets another tick, another big game where he stood up in pressure moments. Win Hager actually stood up in a couple of moments towards the end of the game in the third quarter. And we ran the game out again. That's a thing that at halftime we were, 11 points down or something. And you could just feel that, we've got another gear. And we went to that gear in the third term, kept them goalless, kicked 4 of our own. And then in the last quarter, we played it so smart. We knew that they had the advantage in the ruck. We knew that they were going to come at us and have repeat 50s. But that didn't affect our structure. We manned the clearances so well. Anytime Bruce looked like he'd get a tap, Josh Battle turned into another midfielder and he just created another contest, and we just played a ball up, and it was just contest after contest after contest in that last quarter. And if you want a good template on how to defend being an undermanned team, leading a game and protecting a lead with 15 minutes to go, watch that last quarter, because not many teams, apart from maybe Melbourne or Brisbane, would defend as well as we did. And you have to remember the players that we had off the ground. Our backline, again, is people think is not great, but we kept them to 60 points, and it's top 5, I think, in terms of points against that we rank. So our backline is as good as any team going around at the moment, and our forward line is very dangerous, as proven. Max King had a lot of shots, didn't take them, but what he lacked, Jack Higgins brought. Kicked 4 goals, 3 goals in the third term, and we seal the win going forward. So can't question the boys. It was a fantastic win. I think that win says more about our boys than other wins this year. And some people might disagree, but I just feel like this was a game that in years, last year, the year before, we would have lost that game. We would have lost that game, and we'd be sitting here saying, well, that was gallant. We had players go down, this and that. We missed shots, and kind of feel sorry for ourselves. But they just kept going. Next contest, and kept pushing. But, we'll see what the commentary says. I know some people in here have already mentioned the average commentary, and yeah, they were pretty average. They love talking about GWS and how much GWS needed to win the game, and Toby Green's back, and Saints haven't really played anyone good yet, but GWS have played a lot of really good teams. So they have their favourites, and the umpires did their best, and I don't know, it felt like the world was against us tonight, and I feel like we're not going to get the credit we deserve until we play Melbourne in 2 weeks' time, and we challenge them. Next week we play Port in Cairns. If we can go to 6-1, that would be our longest streak in 12 years again. And then we go into Melbourne 6-1, and they're probably 7-0, and it's our biggest game in years, and their biggest game of the season as well. So, that's kind of my take on the game. I'm just so proud of the boys. I honestly would have expected them to try their best and just come up short, but they refused to lose tonight. You know, every player just said, we're not losing this game tonight. We're winning this game. And that's exactly what they did. They won the game, and we go 5-1, saying a second on the ladder, and a long weekend again to celebrate a really good win. And, you know, with the Pinot here, it's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully you're all enjoying it for either at the game or at home, and feeling really good about the win. So I'm just going to get the comments up on the Lappy, and we can go through what you guys think of the game and then dissect that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts because it was such an even performance. Let me know, who was your BOG? Was it Higgins with his 4 goals that really sealed it? Or was it a midfielder? Was it Josh Battle that went into the ruck, had to play multiple roles today, and really support the lack of Marshall and Hayes? You know, who was it? Was it Sinks? It could have been a number of players. That's what I love, that every week there's no obvious gun. You know, there's no obvious best on ground, if you will. So let's get up these comments and see what you Sainers reckon. But yeah, really curious about what you think about best on ground, because for me, it could have been Josh Battle because he plugged a hole when we needed. But you could also, give it to Jack Higgins, kick 4 goals, 3. So let's see what we reckon here. Andrew Hertz is Ryder for Hayes, Jones for Windhager. How far away is Billings and Clark? JB must be close. I think JB is about 1 to 2 weeks away. I've heard Hunter Clark as well. Ryder comes straight in for Hayes. That's a good one. And Jones for Windhager. I probably agree with you there. Windhager's been solid, but I think he's had that 3 or 4 week period now in AFL where he can go back at Sandy and really perform and continue his form there. But I love that Rats has given Nasiah a lot of game time and Windhager. And they've played in close games, they've played in slogs, they've played in open free-flowing games, under the roof, in dewy conditions, interstate, at home, all in a 4-week period. They've really experienced everything about AFL football. So that's only going to do their maturity and their confidence the world of good. So really happy with how the team has been managed at the moment. Gareth says, didn't see Butler much tonight, but it doesn't matter when you win. Absolutely, and maybe he just did little things off the ball, pressured a lot, stuff that might not get a lot of stats. Maybe that's, what the coaches loved about Butler. But at the moment, you've got Long, you've got Butler, you've got Gresham, you've got Higgins that can rotate that forward role. Long's gone back and done a great job. So I think we've got the good mix there of talls and smalls. So yeah, pretty happy about that. Battle BOG, Battle BOG, Battle BOG. A lot of battle for best on ground here at the moment, so that's really good. Battle in the ruck saved the game. That was from Ebony. Jones comes in for Butler. That's from Graham. BT needs to retire on the commentary. He's terrible. That's from Tom. Yeah, commentary, I don't know. Could get better. We need to start a petition, Sainers. Get me and Marshy and Joycey on, and we'll do some Channel 7 telecast. What do you reckon? I'd be fully into that. That'd be amazing. Toby Green sleeps with a night light on. I reckon he's sleeping tonight thinking, having nightmares about Paddo and Webster, that's for sure. What else we got? Battle was immense. Higgins and Battle were great. A lot of good comments here. Hope the media still don't rate us. Let's slide under the radar and get the flag. That's from Jonathan. Best on ground. Still, his tackling pressure was insane. It was. Anytime Steele grabbed a guy, it even looked like he just got him by his fingertips. He would just bring the guy down, his whole body down. And you just wonder how Jack Steele has learnt to just tackle that way. He's the best tackler in the competition by far. Sinclair was best on grounds from Tom. Battle and Higgins, but Battle my love. Definitely Snags, 3 votes. The difference, I thought it was obvious. Blue collar performance, best on ground was Battle. That's from Razor. I'm happy to see Seb play and kick to a player. Lisa, Seb's kicking tonight was great. He kicked a lot of beautifully weighted footies to max kicking to players on the lead, and that's something that we've just not come to see from Seb. Even that right footer, I think it was the right footer to Higo and kicked his 4th and his 3rd for the term. That was a right foot composure type kick from Seb, and you never see that from him. So really impressed by Seb Ross in the last, pretty much the entire year, to be honest. Anzac round Jake, Battle put a real digger's effort in tonight. Definitely best on ground. That's from Roscoe. Really good comment there, mate. He did have that spirit about him, didn't he? And that was the whole club at the moment. So really happy with that performance tonight. Isle 29 boys were loud from the TV tonight. That's from Josh. You heard them, Joshy. Marshy was there tonight. He would have been singing very loudly, and I think he's actually interviewing some fans there tonight and getting some footage. So hopefully we can have that on the channel in the next couple of days as well. Olivia says, Josh Battle, what a coming of age. He's stepped up in his post-match interview where he mentioned him going into the ruck, not bothering him because it's about stepping up for the team. The whole team needs to be committed, commended, selfless, determined, persistent. Great comment there, Olivia. Fully agree with you there. Steele, best on ground. That's from Graham. Stephen says, can't wait for Ryder, Jones, and Clark and Billings to be available. Alan says, Ross has been one of our best every week. Never been a fan of his, but changing my mind this season. That's awesome to see. And Seb's had a lot of his critics over the last couple of years, but I think all of us can really put our hands up and say, yeah, Seb stepped up, and this is the form that we believed that he had, that he was capable of, and he's really delivering it for us this year. Sandy says, good win on an ordinary night. Did somebody say Toby Green? Can we get some appreciation for Corey Enright? Absolutely. I think all year we've been praising Corey Enright. Even the players are loving the fact that they've got a good defensive coach. So absolutely. Corey Enright, Nick Walsh, Brett Ratton, Brendan Lade, everyone involved in the coaching box. You were all doing a just absolutely phenomenal job, and we were all so impressed and so proud of how you've built this team and the way that we're playing every week. We're playing some of the most consistent, hard, exciting football in the competition, and that's all we've asked for. And you know, we've gone through some shit times, but hopefully this is really coming out the other end, and we're starting to see some really exciting football, and getting the wins on the board just adds to that as well. Buster says, as impressive a win as I've seen in years. Jack says, wasn't pretty Jakey, but we got it done. Shattered for Hayes. Hope we give him another contract. Umpire decent. Umpire dissent is testing my patience. Absolutely. That Dan McKenzie one. Oh, he literally just said the ball touched the ground, and the umpire just thought, yeah, we'll just pay it. We'll just pay it. Oh, and Ruffy, sorry there. And in the coaching box, obviously, we've got Jared Roughhead who's doing a great job in the forward line. King and Battle and Higgins, Steele, they're all good players that I just mentioned. Pato living rent-free inside Toby's head. Toby, that's from Darren. A lot of love for Toby tonight. I'm enjoying that. Great effort, saying this 5 in a row since 2010 from Grant. 2011, actually, Grant. So, bit of a fun fact there for you. Everyone's just loving the fact that it was such a gutsy win. No silver service tonight, but it doesn't matter when you win. Absolutely doesn't matter. Hey guys, who's this Toby guy everyone's talking about in the comments? That's from Ari. Who comes in for Marshall and Hayes? Probably Ryder and Jones would be awesome if he's available. Michael says, don't care that he didn't kick straight. Kingy was still elite. 8 shots on goal is great for a young forward. Absolutely. And it looked like Kingy, he was taking his shots. It didn't look like he was losing confidence with his performance, which is what I loved. In years gone by, even Higo, he missed a couple early, and BT, he brought out the Missy Higgins bullshit commentary, and everyone was messaging me about that. BT, that's bullshit, mate. I hope you go and apologise to Higo, because he's kicked 4-3. What's his good nickname then? Snags? You're going to call him Snags, or we're just going to call him Missy Higgins, because that was just stupid. But I'm glad that even though we were missing goals early, not once did our boys put their heads down. Even when GWS got ahead, they didn't put their heads down, and we just kept fighting, and we found a way to win. And They talked about it last week. Brendan Lade, post-game, mentioned that we're finding different ways to win. And again tonight, this is a very different way that we've won. Every week when we've won, they've all been different ways. And that shows the sign of a very good team. Melbourne do that. You know, not many other teams do that. They win the same way, or they try to win the same way and they lose. But we're really adapting in-game to what we need to do. And the fact that we've got versatile players like Battle makes us an even harder matchup, because tonight, if it was any other team that lost their 2 rucks, they could have been screwed. But we had Josh Battle that went in and did a job and, you know, did enough to negate the power of Bruce in the ruck, and that got us the win. Backline is huge. That's from Julie. Max Heath to come in. That's from Zach. Maybe, mate. I don't know. Max Heath has been performing really well at Sandy, but he's only played a couple of games at Sandy, so I think they're probably going to give him more time. I'd like to think that Paddy Ryder could come in and Rowe. I think it was just a big corky, so hopefully Rowe will be okay in a week's time. I think we dominated a lot of aspects. Higgins and King missing such gettable goals. Should have won by 40 plus. Port next week, normally a bogey team for us. Absolutely. Port, big game next week for us. So we move on. We go 5-1. GWS was always going to be tricky tonight, but again, we just found a way. So really, really happy with that. Zach, I've already answered your question, mate. So you can stop copying and pasting the question. Max Heath probably won't come in. So we can just forget that there. Wanganeen Malira has been amazing. That's from Tegan. He has been. Brad Hill's run was impressive. That's from Julian. Yeah, and the kick to Max King was almost perfect when he took the player on. Marcus says, and I could put Jake in first class up in the sky. You go into the game in Cairns, Jakey. That's from Lorne. Unlikely. I'll try and see what I can do, but I think I've got a few things on next weekend, and that was the case this weekend. Couldn't get away. But I really do want to get to some more interstate games this year when I can. So if it's not going to be Cairns, hopefully it'll be in Adelaide or Sydney. We'll see how we go. Steph says, what I like about King is that even if he doesn't take the mark, he still brings it to ground and puts it in the hands of someone else to go for a run with it. Absolutely. Kingy is so unique that way. If he's not marking, he's really creating a contest, and our smalls get to work and we kick goals that way. So, and he's so good beneath his knees that he can pick it up himself. So he's a one of a kind, and we're very lucky to have him. Can we beat Port next week? That's from Dale. Absolutely, Dale. Absolutely. We'll be favourites going into that game, mate. We'll be expected to win that game. Finding a way. That's from Thomas. Think I need a bourbon after that. That's from Gary. Absolutely, mate. Pop out the bourbon, get the wine, do all of that. Enjoy your night. Holy F, Dukes and Wilkie carry us. That, I think it was in the last quarter or the third quarter where Wilkie tapped it, then Dukes handballed it to Pato or something and we cleared it, but it was like a 2-on-1. Wilkie left his man and then got to the contest. He's such a good player, Wilkie, and he's never going to get the credit because he's not a big name. But for us, he's going to be one of those players that when we win a premiership, you'll look and go, Kel Wilkie had such a good year, such a good match. You know, and he does that week in, week out, unnoticed, but we love him for it. We don't need him to be in the All-Australian team because we know he's as good as those players, so it doesn't bother us. Great start to the weekend. Go Saints from Lisa. Crouchy had a night. He started slow, but I thought he kept going. He did a really good job towards the end of the game, and he got his goal at the end, which he deserved. Love your work, man. Keep it up. That's from Jack. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Seb Ross has turned a serious corner, Jake. That's from Matthew. Ooh, Matthew reckons, let's face it, I love the Saints, but that was not great. Yes, we got over the line, but we need to put games away. Yes, I think we need to say that King should have slotted more. Let's not make excuses. He's great, but tonight you could have kicked more than him. I'm not going to agree with that. I thought we did really well. King's going to have off nights. Buddy Franklin had nights like that. Toby Green's had nights like that. Jeremy Cameron has had nights like that. Tom Hawkins has. Rui had. You know, players go through that, but it doesn't matter. They come out the other way. He'll learn from it. Next week, he'll probably kick 6 straight. We know his goal kicking is a work in progress, but it's improving. And tonight, I think a lot of his misses were pretty close. One hit the post, and his set shot from close range, he hit straight through the middle. So I don't have any problems with Kingy's shots. I might leave it there, Sainers. There's a lot of comments, so if I keep reading it, we'll be on here for hours. But yeah, really excited to enjoy the rest of the weekend, watch the replay, enjoy the rest of this Pinot, and then we go towards Port Adelaide in a week's time in Cairns, heading for our 6th straight win. Can you believe? You know, it's hard to believe that we've won 5 straight, but you just want it to keep going. And now I'm already thinking about next week, but I've got to try and enjoy this win, enjoy the long weekend, as you guys will. I'll get my player ratings video out. If not tomorrow, it'll be Sunday. And then Saints TV Weekly will be out Monday. And the podcast, it'll be great to chat to Marshy, who went to the game tonight, and Joycey as well. We'll be back on Tuesday night for the Saints TV podcast. I appreciate all of you watching and supporting the channel, sending stars, donating to the channel, just spending time engaging with the content is amazing. And yeah, I'll be back next week for a lot more Saints TV leading up to the Port Adelaide game. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers to the St Kilda Footy Club. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. 5 in a row, Sainers. Enjoy it. See you guys.